This is Graphing Exercise for Microsoft Excel 2008. Following this tutorial, you will learn how to load data onto an Excel spreadsheet and use that data to create a graph. To begin, open an Excel document. Once you have done that, move your cursor over to column A, box 1, and click on it. When you've selected that box, both the A and 1 will be highlighted, and the box will be outlined in a light gray. Once you've selected that box, you can begin entering your data. To move down, you can either use the down arrow keys, or you can use your cursor and click on the next box to manually move down. The data that I have entered is going to represent my baseline data. I have 5 data points, and I fill rows 1 through 5. Once you've finished entering your data, we need to create our graph. To do this, click on the first box so that it is outlined, and while still holding down, drag your cursor so that all of your data is highlighted. If you've selected all of your data, it will be outlined in a light gray and also highlighted. Once all of your data is selected, go to Insert, that's at the top ribbon, and click on it, and click on the 4th item down, that'll be Chart. A pop-up menu will appear in a ribbon above your worksheet. In the first section, which is All, which is what it will open on, you can scroll through to find the graph that you want to make. We're going to make a line graph, so I'm going to move my cursor to the Line option and click on it. This will bring up only the line graph options. I want my graph to have marked data points, so I'm going to click on the 4th icon, which is a marked line. When I click on it, the graph will automatically insert. You may notice that this graph does not have labeled axes, nor does it have a title. In order to insert these, I'm going to move over to the Formatting palette, which has been there the whole time. If your formatting palette does not appear, click on the toolbox icon at the top. When my chart is highlighted, I have new options that appear. If I click outside my chart, my graph, it will no longer be highlighted. I can tell that my graph isn't highlighted because it's not surrounded in blue, and my data doesn't have a blue outline. To highlight your graph, click on it. To add a title, I'm going to go to Chart Options, that's this right here, and select Chart Title. Then I'm going to click in the box to begin typing. My chart title is Cody Naming Colors. I'm going to repeat this process to name my horizontal or x-axis, which is going to be trials, and my vertical or y-axis, which is going to be number correct. My legend, it's called Series 1 here, isn't labeled yet, but don't worry about that just now. I'm going to show you how to change that later. So right now I have in my baseline data, but what if I actually had forgotten to add in a few data points? It's actually very easy to add data. I'm going to go over with my cursor to column A, type in my new data, and then I'm going to highlight my graph and move my cursor over to the blue outline and select the bottom right corner and drag down so that all of my data is selected. Once you do that, your graph will automatically update. Another way that you may want to add data is to graph other investigations taken at the same trials. This would be a second baseline survey. See that? And I'm just going to real fast return my graph to normal. To do that, I'm going to add my data, my new data, in column B. Now, because this is taken at the same trial, it's representative of different information collected at the same trial. So for example, if we're doing Cody naming colors, this may be a different color that Cody is trying to name. In order to add this data to my graph, I'm going to make sure it's highlighted, click on the bottom right-hand corner, and drag till all my data is selected. And a second line automatically appears. What you will need to do for your assignment is to add both a baseline and after intervention line. This will be data which is separated in time and data that you're going to want to represent on two different lines. To do that, and I'm going to return my graph to normal real fast, I'm actually going to delete a point as well to make this easier for myself. To do that, I'm going to enter my after intervention data in column B, but I'm also going to enter it after the baseline trials. This is representing both a different line and also moving forward in time. For example, this could be weeks later. So let me real quick just enter my data in here and add that to the graph. Do it the exact same way. Make sure your graph is highlighted. Click on the corner and drag. A new line will appear. There will be white space at the bottom of column A and at the top of column B, but that's exactly what you want because you don't want any information in your after intervention column before your intervention has taken place. Okay, now that we have both our baseline intervention data in, it's important to name our legend so that we can tell which line is which. To do that, we're going to go over to Chart Data, which is in the Formatting palette, and select Edit. And a pop-up menu will appear. Series 1 is my baseline data, so when it's highlighted, as it is now, I'm going to name it Baseline. To name Series 2, I'm going to click on it and type in the same place, Intervention. I'm going to spell it correctly though. Once I finish that, I'm going to click OK, and the graph automatically updates. And the last thing that you will have to do is add a trend line. Now the easiest way to add a trend line is to select a point of data either on your baseline or intervention graph and click it while holding down Control at the same time. So that is, you're going to hold the Control key down and click your mouse button. A pop-up menu should appear. Select Add Trend Line, and a trend line will automatically show up. You can edit it in the menu that appears, or you can just select OK. Alright, at this point, you've learned everything you need to do to complete this assignment. But there is more stuff that you can add. You can, for example, play with the appearance of your graph. You can do this by going to the Chart Style section of the Formatting palette and selecting one of the lines that appear. Doing this will let you have some cool effects, such as 3D or a filled-in plot. Another thing that you can do is play with the quick styles and effects, colors and weights, or other options that appear on your formatting palette. These will let you manually adjust. Alright, at this point in the tutorial, you have learned how to load data into an Excel spreadsheet and use that data to create a line graph. Good luck!